The big man is coming back on stage. Rob and Jonathan, I think, for a fireside chat. Come on stage. I hand you your stage back. Don't fall.
Jonathan, you get the couch. You get the couch. We have 6 minutes. What's your biggest takeaway from today?
Boom, boom. Yep, you can hear me.
Biggest takeaway?
I just think we need to get a little bit glass half full rather than glass half empty. I joined the so-called CPaaS world from the software world 6 years ago. And there's been a lot of value created since then, right? So I was looking at some of our financials back then, and I was looking at our COGS and the value we've created together as an ecosystem back then. I think the profits across the ecosystem were around $200 million. Now they're a couple of $1 billion. That's 10 times, right? So we've been pretty good at doing that, and we've all benefited from that. I think the one thing as well that hasn't been talked enough is the customer in the room, the customer journey, the outcomes. When I got on my flight coming down here, all of my different experiences, my customer experiences or intelligent engagements maybe, were powered by either my company or a company that probably sits in this room. That was pretty powerful. As I walked down, Dam Square, the B&Coff, your big department store, right, on Dam Square, we power the chatbot for that, and the experience of really, making them a lot more efficient as an organization. So I think we just need to get a little bit more confident, because even with the sort of channels that we have today, there's a huge amount of opportunity there with network APIs and other things. And then when we look at the agentic AI future, even more opportunity. So if we've 10 times things in the last 6 years, I think we can 100 times things, in the next maybe 3 years. So I think just talking about sort of, the death of the telco and how we're so bad at everything, and it doesn't really bring much positivity. I think Mark from Intel put it right. We need to focus on the outcomes that we're creating. And then I think we're going to be in a slightly better place.
Cool. So you don't buy into this dystopian AI future where we'll all be out of business and Sam and Zuck will do it. Last night we talked a little bit about your thing at home at the company, where you're talking about it's time for the next act in CPaaS, right? And we introduced this morning intelligent engagement as sort of the evolution of CPaaS and network APIs and all that other stuff into, I think, the next act. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, it definitely does. I was taking our board through it last week, and it was actually pretty much inspired by Andrew's, CPaaS 1, CPaaS 2, CPaaS 3. And I think that's where all players are right now, right? I hate to say that this industry is ever in an interval, because I know how busy all the companies are, but we are definitely going into that next act, and that next act will be dominated by, AI and different pieces of the value chain. And I think that's very, very exciting. And I think for some players out there, it will mean death. For other players out there, it will definitely mean a lot more value creation right across the ecosystem. And I think that's incredibly exciting. And I think there's a connection here about, combining the old world with the new world. We have the privilege of working with some of the world's leading AI companies, and they're plugging in our channels right now, and we're learning so much from these organizations. Organizations, based in the West Coast of America, based in Europe, how the LLMs are actually dealing with our APIs is fascinating. And we're learning every day, and I think someone said here something about curiosity, just being curious about what can happen next. I think that's critical.
When you said old world and new world, I thought you were going to say telcos and CPaaS. But you mean all of us and AI?
Yeah, pretty much. I think
I find that interesting.
Yes. I think I was with some investors the other day, and I said, what really excites me about being in this industry is our largest customers probably are either in the process of being born right now, or have been born in the last 12 months. So we obsess about this industry's been born from US hyperscalers or global hyperscalers, and now we're serving, Chinese hyperscalers or other hyperscalers. But actually, some of the companies that we are now experiencing now, which are being born by people, a lot younger than the average age in this room. It's truly exciting to collaborate with them, actually, because they're building their apps and they're vibe coding their stuff. But what do they need? We want this app to send an SMS. We want this app to send an email. We're learning a lot from email. We're one of the only providers that has, proprietary email at scale. And quite frankly, they don't understand this telco stuff. So we have to teach them, well, messaging is quite complicated and it's market by market and it has these different regulations and you need to register a campaign like that. But we're bringing them on board with email, actually, where you've got inboxes, and then we're, introducing them to the world of messaging and rich messaging. So yes, no, I think old world and new world, this whole, are you a tech co or are you a telco? I mean, I like the staging of it, but, I think it's exciting that we're able to serve this new breed of companies. The important thing is, though, they are looking for infrastructure at scale, an intelligent infrastructure that can engage intelligently.
I like that way that you frame this, because it almost feels like we, this industry, we should be, let's say, supportive and encouraging to these AI startup guys. And I think it was in the InfoBip slide that Boris presented, the MCP thing at the top, becoming an AI marketplace of some sort, where these different agentic AI startups, whatever, things can experiment and then build on the platform, arguably as a way to keep or capture some of that money, right, before we get completely disrupted, or...
Yeah, I think I've been in a lot of industries. We used to do the Google disintermediation thing, right? Oh, Google are going to disintermediate us. Now AI is going to disintermediate. And maybe that's...
Well, Google is still going to do RCS.
Maybe, yeah. Let's not go down that rabbit hole. But I think, everyone should see an opportunity in there. And I think where I think Sinch and Infobip would very much agree is we're going from this world of aggregation, how can we help you plug into a carrier, to orchestration. And I think what the CPaaS industry has been very, very good at is actually what channels do we need to orchestrate? How can we make that frictionless and easy for our customers? How can we pick outcomes, in a customer journey that deliver value for customers? And that's why essentially, over the last few years, we've been able to, 10 times the value creation we've given out to the ecosystem, because we have been quite quick, we have been very adaptable, we have been global, and I look forward to doing that sort of, 10 times I think will be a understatement when we look back in maybe 3 years' time.
I like to focus on what you're saying, the value, the outcomes. I love what Vonage said about that this morning as well. So it feels that the CPaaS players on board. I also liked your panel, Amy, just now with the telcos. I think that was very, very positive as well, to hear these stories from telcos. Quite a difference from a couple of years ago, I think. So maybe we conclude in a positive way this afternoon. That was the whole purpose, right? We started dystopian with Charles, thank you very much, and now we're sort of ending on a positive note.
Which I think what I really liked is the partnership stuff, right? Because, and to give you and Rob and others a credit is it's about the ecosystem. I believe that each of the partners that we've had, on stage today has a huge future here. It will depend on your agility. It will depend on your customer centricity. But are there headwinds for us to conquer? Sure. But I think the opportunity is so much more than the headwinds that we're experiencing.
Thank you very much. Which is a great segue, and I'll save you 30 seconds by announcing the final chat of the day.